Hello, good evening once again. I'm Richard, and this is my dog Oreo. Tonight's topic is a touchy subject. It's called passed out, drunk, intoxicated pregnancy, and um, this has to deal with women in addiction that end up pregnant. So basically, there's a misconception that women choose to have this happen to them, where they have one baby after another, maybe 3 to 5 babies, and be living on welfare or some kind of child support and not working, but just continuously addicted, living in addiction. However, instead, and and usually in this case, the mother loses custody because of this irresponsibility of however many children there are. Uh, there's a joke that goes around. ADD stands for all different daddies. Now, that joke, where that comes from, is that women in addiction tend to have children from multiple partners, and sadly, that's usually what happens. But that's not what it's all about. That's not what it stands for. What happens is a lot of women in addiction, and anybody in addiction, uh, are continuously abusing themselves, drinking or using drugs nonstop, continuously doing drugs nonstop, not eating, walking, doing whatever, going to parties to feed that addiction, do whatever it takes to feed the addiction. And what they don't count on is, they end up in situations where they and pass out intoxicated uh, from drugs or from alcohol or from a combination of both, whatever the case may be. And these kind of pregnancies aren't planned. They're a result of irresponsibility on both parts, men and women. So you get a lot of so both partners are addicted, right? The men and the women, and you're usually a lot of young people. This happens in a situation where a lot of young men and women are sexually active, and both in addiction. And sometimes in that case, the uh, the men could become irresponsible. The young men, old men, whatever case. Don't think that I am talking about anybody out there in my community I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. Okay, this is. I'm not talking about you or anyone else. This has to do with anyone in general. I'm just clearing up some subjects regards to multiple pregnancies during addiction. Why do men and women? Why do young men and women, whatever age they may be, tend to have a high pregnancy rate? So it's irresponsibility on both parts. The men usually take advantage of the women, and technically you're supposed to ask, right? It doesn't, like, even if you're the partner or husband, whatever, there should be consenting. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Sometimes the woman passes out. She's comfortable with him. She slept with him lots of times, or she brought somebody home. She passes out, or she passes out around the same guy all the time. It's the same guy. They one night stand might result into multiple night stands, maybe a 2 3 month relationship, whatever the case may be. And so she begins to just let him have his way with her, right? And so that's exactly what happens. Is the man takes advantage of a sleeping woman, whether she's passed out drunk or not. It's my girlfriend. I don't care. It's my wife. It's okay. So he ends up ejaculating inside of her, and you both know, right? Like both parties know it. If you're an adult and you got a clear mind, it doesn't, like, you make the choice to drink and do drugs, whatever. Okay, you're living in that addiction. You make that choice to walk that road until you come to your senses. So you can expect anything to happen. whether you end up in jail, institutions, or death. So in this case, this can happen to a woman several times in her life, where where she may be getting raped. Even she might not even consent to it. It could happen at a party. It could happen in a car. Somebody giving her a ride home, and she passes out in the car, and the guy screws her while she's sleeping, and and she gets pregnant that way. And usually, sometimes, depending on how severe the addiction is, the woman doesn't know who the partner is, because she's got her boyfriend. She's got guy friends, lots of guy friends. It could be either one of them, right? Because she drinks with them all, or she parties with them all, and this could happen to men too, right? But I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that because because men don't get pregnant, right? But what I'm trying to concentrate on is pregnancies with women and how it happens. So it's irresponsibility on both parts. Okay, you're both irresponsible. You're both adults. If you end up pregnant, whose fault is that? Okay, you put yourself in that situation. If you do drugs, you're putting yourself in dangerous situations. Okay, you're at parties, you're traveling around in cars, people are talking on cell phones, you're going to smash up sometime. You could smash up, you could get shot, anything could happen, especially, nowadays, with the world's population growing, so does the criminal activity, and so does everything that's happening. And this is a result of growing population. So that's what happens with the pregnancies, multiple pregnancies. Is usually it may also be a woman's just I don't want to just focus on women. And put the blame on women. That's not what I'm trying to do, because it's both parties. Okay, men too. Men too are irresponsible. You know that you should wait till she wakes up, right? Or you should do this when you're both sober, not when you're both drunk and passing out and falling all over each other. But people don't worry about that at the moment. During the spur of the moment, you don't worry about sort of that. When you're drunk and you're getting home, you pick somebody at the bar. A lot of for me in my addiction, that's why I went to the bar specifically for that reason, to go pick up a woman and to have sex with her. And and yeah, ended up in situations where where a lot of things happened between us, and luckily I didn't end up getting anybody pregnant with just being irresponsible, not wearing protection or any of that. And that's the other thing. Sometimes men don't wear protection, and yeah, of course that's how they end up pregnant, right? They're going to end up pregnant because the man's not wearing protection, and it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't even matter if she's on a pill; she gets pregnant anyways. So this can, like I said, it can happen 4 or 5 times, and a man can be if you can admit your mistakes, sober up, and be responsible. Then you can be a responsible father. But until you do that, this is you brought another baby into the world, into addiction, and chances are, the baby, whether it's a boy or a girl, is going to end up addicted also, because that's how they were born. They were born into partying, drinking, foster care, whatever. There's never knowing a stable life, because what this kind of pregnancy has created. A lot of times, a mother is left with that baby, and she ends up raising 2, 3 kids, but sometimes ends up staying in addiction, drunk or on drugs, and sometimes the grandmother usually, ends up taking care of the kids, or the grandfather, or both, ends up taking care of their adult child's babies. And that's from the mother leaving the parents with the baby. That could be caused by that too. And a lot of times the mother and father don't, the adult's parents, the grandparents of the baby, usually don't. Sometimes they don't mind because it's the grandchild, right? So they'll raise as many grandchild as possible, and they end up in a situation where they're raising everyone. And that doesn't, like I said, I'm not talking about anybody here or over there or anywhere else. Okay, this could happen to anyone: black people, white people, native people, people from wherever. Okay, if you're in that addiction and you have that irresponsibility and you know about pregnancy and you're an adult, you're over 18, or even if you're uh, starting to become of that age where you know you're going to get pregnant, you can get pregnant. You should be paying attention to yourself, taking care of yourself. Parent mothers should be looking out for that sort of thing, for your daughter's welfare. Like it's mothers will learn, or baby daughters will learn from their mothers. Father or sons will learn from their fathers. So it's kind of a mom and dad are supposed to be the examples, and usually if there are multiple people in addiction, this is what the child is raised around, and so that passed out, drunk, intoxicated pregnancy happens again. Okay, sometimes a lot of times a woman doesn't say anything when this happens. Sometimes if she gets sexually assaulted while she's sleeping, she doesn't know who it is. A lot of times she won't say anything. Okay, if she does know who it is, sometimes she'll like the guy or something or whatever, and she just won't say anything. And or she'll just say this, that this is how it happened. That it happened while she was passed out, and she woke up pregnant or whatever. So, anyways, so the joke out there about the all different daddies is not funny, and what we are on is a subject that nobody likes to talk about. Okay, nobody wants to talk about it because it's something that's supposed to be kept quiet. Okay, a lot of victims keep quiet about things that happen to them, and they go through their whole life like that, and until they deal with the situations that have happened to them. So a lot of the passed out, drunk, intoxicated pregnancies, as you know, they're not planned. Okay, it's not like a young girl goes look at some drug addict, drug dealer guy, and picks a drug dealer guy to be her partner. It doesn't usually happen that way. You're both in addiction. You're both going to if you end up together and you end up having sex together, this is what you're going to create. This is what's going to happen, and it's not like she's choosing this person. It's the addiction. Okay, see, the whole thing revolves around addiction, and I want to make clear that you have to deal with this stuff in order to move forward in your recovery. Okay, if you've done things certain ways and they didn't work before, they're not going to work again. Okay, so you need to try something new and and you'll have to talk about this stuff. How you got pregnant, or if you want to, it's up to you. Totally up to you, and it's totally up to you. If you want to put yourself in that situation or not. So that's about all I can tell you. Like I said, I was a partier too. I drank too. I was irresponsible too, and I had a lot of girlfriends. I've had a lot of one night stands, and I'm not proud of a lot of that stuff. It was this is to talk about this. At one time it would have been embarrassing, but to talk about this now is sharing with you, like, how that you're not alone in any of this, men or women. This happens to a lot of people. Have a good night.